We are going to learn how to dye things with leaves today, which sounds impossible, but I'm sure it isn't because there's a course in it.
Hi, welcome.
Hey.
How are you? Good, yeah. My name's India. I work under the name World Hues and I'm a textile artist specialising in natural dyes. Today we're going to be doing basic eco printing with leaves on cloth, and then we'll be adding colour. And one of the beauties of eco printing is that it's easy to pick up. The complexity comes in understanding the chemistry behind it and getting that right, but I'll be here to guide you and make sure we've got all that right in advance, so hopefully everything will go smoothly and we'll get some gorgeous prints.
What are you looking for in a leaf?
Nice and intact, but also not too big, because the kind of prints we're doing are quite narrow, so they're only like 25 to 30 centimetres.
That one would be good.
Yeah. Just get a sprig, because it's quite a nice one to have. You can lay the whole branch down and it'll look really nice. I love the smells of eco printing. That I use a piece of pine as a thing to bundle it around, and the smell of the pine when it's steamed with the leaves is gorgeous. When you open up the steam pot at the end and like the waft of plant smells comes into your nose, that's a joy.
Amazing.
Let's go.
Hey everybody.
Yeah, don't do it like that. Looks great on camera. Perfect.
So I've got a piece of fabric here. This is the mordanted silk, which I've mordanted beforehand. A mordant is normally a metal silt which allows the dye to bind to the cloth. So if you don't have a mordant, you get a very weak print, whereas using a mordant allows a strong bond between the dye and the fibre. Mordants are any metal salt, so you can use iron, alum, which is an aluminium salt. You can just use rusty things. So you can make your own iron mordant at home from getting bits of rusty metal, mix it with a bit of vinegar and a bit of water, and you leave it for a long time until it looks quite disgusting like this, and it has a very pungent smell and it might be a bit fizzy. And then you've got a sort of iron liquor, and then you can add sort of a teaspoon of this maybe to a big pot of water and dunk your fabric in that, and that can work as an iron mordant. I tend to use ferrous sulfate like this, but that's because I can be more accurate with it. But if you're doing stuff at home and you just want to play around, like this is your best bet. It slightly smells of apple juice. Do you want to have a smell?
Yeah. Well, it does smell like apple juice. Like rusty apple juice.
So you always need to put it down on a surface that you can wipe,
Mm-hmm.
so it won't stain, because it does react with anything kind of plant-based, so like any wood.
And hands. Naturally occurring hands.
You can start arranging the leaves on the fabric.
Okay.
So the veins on the underside of the leaf
Yeah.
you want facing onto the fabric.
Okay.
The top layer of the leaf is a slightly like waxier coating, whereas the underside of the leaf is thinner, so it's much easier for the tannins to like get out onto the fabric.
Cool.
So you can use paper, but it does tend to allow the print to still come through. So then this is the sort of tricky bit. Get a bit of the plastic wrapped around
Yeah.
the wood. You're gonna slowly roll it round. You want to hold one hand here and kind of like pull back against your hand.
Mm-hmm.
I sometimes just like put it in a little blanket.
Mm-hmm.
So if you can just like wrap it up with string now,
Yeah.
but because the amount of pressure that you have on the leaf really affects the print, if
Yeah.
you wrap it with string, you'll get lines where the string is.
Mm.
And then you're gonna take this
Yeah.
and just start going like, really going for it, and just get loads and loads of string around. Yeah, and just sort of bind the whole thing up.
Or these are just like a tea steamer, which would normally be full of tea, but you're just using the bottom, a little bit of water, and then there's like a plate on the bottom.
So do you want to put it in?
Okay, I'm a little scared. Just pop it in vertically.
Well, put it on the side.
Yeah.
So do you want to dip this one in iron, or which will go like a duller colour, or we could go just alum on its own and then you get brighter colour?
Alum.
Okay, so we'll get nice.
Yes.
Bright
nice
hues.
bright. Wild hue.
Yeah, that's wild hue.
I want to try and be a bit more conscious of my design this time. I'm going to like make a snake.
Like a literal snake.
No, a snake shape.
You're gonna have a design slithering down your silk.
Yes.
What you been doing?
I've been putting leaves on fabric. So the one that I'm going to make is logwood, so it's going to be purpley. I'm going to put some onion skins on that are going to come out an orangey colour against purple. And I may be being stupid, but is logwood actually wood, or is it like a root, or
Yeah, it's a wood.
it's a wood?
So this is just a piece of organic cotton. It's fairly kind of lightweight and absorbent, which is what we need. And I've just pre-prepared this logwood concentrate. You'll notice that it goes in and it's very orange,
Yeah, that's so
but it comes
interesting.
out purple. Definitely when I first started doing this, I thought I'd done something wrong.
Yeah.
Do you want to like lay it down on here and then unfold the other bit and put that down afterwards? The type of silk that you would normally buy in a store is mulberry silk. The silkworm is boiled in the cocoon and killed while it's being processed. So it means they get a really long filament of silk, but you lose the moth, you kill the moth basically. Whereas wild silk or ahimsa silk or peace silk, all these different names for this ethical type of silk, the moth is allowed to eat its way out of the cocoon and fly away, and then the cocoon is used in that form, but it means that it's got sort of munch holes in it, so you don't get as like beautiful silk. It tends to be a bit rougher, but it works really well for eco printing and things like that. I think fabric being compostable is really important. So everything that I make is fully compostable. If I do something and it's a total disaster, I will go and put it in the compost, and then I know that it's been returned to the earth.
So this one was the first one.
Yeah.
They smell like fresh washing. Not that fresh washing. They smell like some sort of washing. Ooh. This is cool. Oh wow. This is amazing. How all the actually come to this the colour of this leaf under the leaf. So obviously it was green. Look at that.
Oh wow. Oh wow, what a deep colour. That's cool.
Yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, please do like and subscribe. I changed up my editing style a bit for this one, so I'd love to know your thoughts. Also, big thanks to my patrons. If it wasn't for the patrons, these videos would not happen. So big thanks once again, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.